BrahMos missiles, Pinaka rockets and nuclear submarines all feature in Inconnect News Defense Week. The Indian Air Force was so dominant that Pakistan thought its Chinese-made air defense network could be able to stop Indian BrahMos missiles, but it just failed. Within hours, BrahMos struck 11 Pakistani Air Force bases with a deafening roar. And now Thailand has become the latest country that could buy the same Indian missile that beat Pakistan's Chinese origin air defenses. Noor Khan, Sargodha, Jacobabad and Rawalpindi all were hit. The Indian Air Force fired only 19 BrahMos missiles during Operation Sindoor to completely knock the Pakistani Air Force out of action. Countries thousands of kilometers away were watching that battle eagerly. And now they want the same Indian firepower in their own arsenal. Thailand is now considering buying the BrahMos. Over the past couple of months, Indonesia and Vietnam have also signed deals for this Indian missiles, while the Philippines has already deployed it to guard against any Chinese naval attack. In this report, we also take a look at how one Indian military operation against Pakistan may have completely changed India's position in the global arms market forever. Thailand's interest builds directly on the 10th India-Thailand Defense Dialogue held in Bangkok in June 2026, where both the nations, having upgraded their ties already to a strategic partnership in 2025, have now agreed to deepen cooperation in defense manufacturing next. Thailand's initial talks with India over the BrahMos actually date back to at least 2023, coinciding with the visit by the Royal Thai Navy Chief Admiral Rudit to India. The momentum behind the BrahMos exports is building. The Philippines was the first. In 2022, a deal worth $375 million was signed. Manila became BrahMos's first ever export customer with the first batch of missiles delivered in April 2024. Then came Vietnam with a $620 million deal greater than Philippines, while Indonesia followed last month with Prime Minister Modi's visit to the country. The United Arab Emirates of the UAE is also in talks for the BrahMos and Akash Tir Air Defense Command System, a deal that would mark BrahMos's first entry into the Gulf. For years, BrahMos was all about potential, then came the May 2025 war. One operation changed its global appeal and its export prospects. On the morning of 10th of May, multiple Indian Air Force Sukhoi 30 MKI jets struck Pakistani air bases with the BrahMos. It was enough to shake even the Pakistani Prime Minister.
India again launched missile attacks, BrahMos.
The Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement.
Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif later confessed how BrahMos overwhelmed the Pakistani military. Sharif stating, "On the night of May 9th and 10th, our armed forces were preparing to act at 4:30 in the morning after prayers to teach India a lesson. But before that hour could arrive, India again launched a missile attack using the BrahMos, targeting various provinces of Pakistan and the airbase in Rawalpindi." Indian Defense Minister Rajnath Singh later put it bluntly, "Every inch of Pakistan's territory lies within the range of the BrahMos." The Indian Army's Pinaka rocket system could be on the verge of its biggest international breakthrough yet. After Armenia, Egypt is now reportedly considering buying this Indian-made rocket artillery system, a move that could dramatically expand India's defense exports footprint in the global weapons market. For years, the American HIMARS was like the Virat Kohli of rocket artillery. Now Pinaka has walked in like Vaibhav Suryavanshi. But here's what makes this story even more remarkable. Pakistan has been urging Egypt to join the so-called Islamic NATO, but Cairo has so far refused. Now it emerges that secretly Egypt has been seeking to buy Indian defense tech and hardware. Is this another major embarrassment for Pakistan? Not just that, even a major NATO military has also been evaluating the Indian Pinaka rocket artillery. So why are countries eager to buy this Indian system, and has India quietly developed one of the world's world's most lethal long-range artillery platforms. India must ensure that for any defense exports to be finalized, Cairo must not let India's key military technology fall in the hands of global terror factory Pakistan. If Egypt buys Indian Pinaka, then Pakistan's Islamic NATO fantasy might just remain a PowerPoint presentation. Indian scientists have already successfully tested a 120-kilometer Pinaka rocket and are now developing a 300-kilometer variant that could place it in the same category as the American HIMARS, which has dominated modern battlefields as seen in the Russia-Ukraine war. But while a single rocket fired by the American HIMARS costs between $150,000 and $200,000, the Indian Pinaka costs around 70 lakh rupees or nearly $84,000, half the price of the HIMARS. Egypt is now seriously evaluating India's Pinaka, making Cairo possibly the second international customer after Armenia. This comes within days of the 120-kilometer Pinaka long-range guided rocket test firing in Chandipur, Odisha. According to reports in the Times of India, Egyptian military planners believe Pinaka offers a rare combination of affordability in crisis along with precision, firepower, and operational flexibility. In an era where every defense budget everywhere is under pressure, these factors matter enormously. Precision-guided rockets are battlefield game changers. They could destroy command posts, ammunition depots, logistics hubs, and long-distance strikes with remarkable effectiveness. For a country like Egypt, which requires thousands of rockets to defend vast strategic areas, this price difference could translate to enormous long-term savings. Now, traditional unguided rockets are effective for saturating a broad area, but today's battlefields demand precision strikes. Military commanders increasingly need weapons capable of striking enemy headquarters or radar sites, logistics centers, and high-value targets while reducing unnecessary collateral damage. And this is where India's guided Pinaka offers a major technological advantage. The system combines an inertial navigation system with GPS guidance and also uses India's indigenous NAVIC satellite navigation network to accurately guide rockets towards their intended targets. A single Pinaka launcher can unleash 12 rockets in just 44 seconds, delivering devastating saturation fire across the battlefield. That capability allows military units to rapidly strike enemy positions before relocating, making it harder for opposition forces to detect and target the Indian launch platform. This could be Modi's biggest naval masterstroke. Are Pakistan's 8 new Chinese-origin Sindoor submarines already obsolete as India begins its massive submarine power expansion backed by INS Karwar, the biggest naval base in Asia, and INS Varsha, a dedicated submarine base near Visakhapatnam? India's new nuclear-powered submarine fleet would soon be backed by 6 brand-new German submarines, arguably the best AIP submarines anywhere in the world today. But what's very embarrassing for Pakistan is that Germany refused to share its AIP tech or diesel engines with Islamabad in 2020, only to later agree to share the tech and jointly construct the submarines in India. That is a direct result of Pakistan's state-sponsored terror policy. Now, while everyone is busy focusing on Pakistan's non-existing J-35 stealth fighter deal or guessing which stealth fighter jet the Indian Air Force would buy, there is a far deadlier military race unfolding underwater. The 90,000 crore rupee AIP submarine deal with Germany would ensure India wins this race. German ambassador to India, Philipp Ackermann, has confirmed the long-pending Project 75I submarine agreement is set to be signed. He stated, "Submarine deal. I am very hopeful and confident that it will be signed very soon. In the next month, maybe." The deal is worth over 8 billion euros or more than 90,000 crore rupees. That's more than Pakistan's entire defense budget of 2024. India-Germany deal covers 6 next-generation AIP submarines to be built in India based on Germany's Type 214 design. For that much money, India is gaining access to next-generation AIP technology, which makes the German submarines the most silent hunters beneath the waves. In submarine warfare, silence and stealth makes all the difference between life and death. The diesel engine in the Chinese origin Hangar submarines is questionably loud, and according to reports, it leaves a distinct acoustic signature, making them comparatively easier to identify and then target when using the diesel engines. Not only will India's new AIP submarines be far more silent, but India's nuclear submarines would enjoy a significant strategic advantage over the new Pakistani Hangar submarines. Germany's ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems and India's state-owned Mazagon Dock shipbuilders in Mumbai would construct the new AIP submarines under the Modi government's Make in India push. The core technology at stake here is the AIP, or Air Independent Propulsion. It lets a submarine generate power using batteries without surfacing to draw in oxygen. The submarine can hide underwater for over 2 weeks at a time. India's current submarine fleet lacks operational AIP capabilities. The Indian Navy operates 6 French-origin Calvary-class Scorpene submarines, 7 older Sindoor-class Kilo submarines, and 4 Shishumar-class boats, alongside its 3 nuclear-powered submarines, with a 4th nuclear SSBN set to join next year. On the 30th of April, Pakistan commissioned its first Hangar-class submarine based on China's Type 039 or the Wan-class design. It is nearly 76 meters long and displaces about 2,800 tons. The full program for 8 submarines is about $5 billion. But what do you believe? Should the Indian Navy lead Operation Sindoor 2.0? Leave a comment, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.